Well, this morning might not have been the sweetest for us Arizona Wildcat fans, but Spears is on the show, so maybe the afternoon can be a little bit better.
How is everybody doing? Welcome on into the AZ Wildcats podcast. I am Damon Farrell. He is Kevin Thomas, and we got a jam-packed show for you today, including with our guy, Justin Spears. A little bit of Arizona baseball, or we could just pretend that didn't happen.
There's Arizona baseball to talk about?
Yeah, I tweeted out earlier. I'm excited to watch the Super Regional later.
Yeah, it's on tonight, right?
I think so.
Like a primetime late night showing, like a matinee. Right?
I heard that somewhere. But yeah, we got a jam-packed show. We're going to be talking baseball, basketball, maybe a little bit of football in between. But without further ado, why don't we bring on our guy Justin Spears here and see how Justin's living on a fine Friday
real quick, Damon.
afternoon here.
I wanted to ask you something before we topped off this show real quick with Justin Spears getting here. Did you watch the NBA Finals last night? Because we are going to talk to Spears about that.
I did watch the end of the game. I was not able to watch the full portion of the game, but I did make it for the Pacers' remarkable comeback. Did you watch it, Kevin? You know what? I know the answer to that. You were at Boondocks.
I was indeed at Boondocks. Yeah, I had a slushie in one hand and my phone in the other, recording the Hallie shot there. But yeah, no, it was cool seeing Bennedict Mathurin record a crazy block. I believe in the early fourth quarter of that game or something like that. And I was instantly, Damon knows how it is when we're watching these games and we see a clip or something that we want clipped. We just go, post the clip. And usually I'm around people that understand what that means. But I'm just in the middle of a bar, like almost like an open area, like a bar scene with a big jumbotron, and it's very loud. Bennedict Mathurin blocks the hell out of J-Dub, and I'm just going, post the clip, NBA! Post the clip now!
Please.
And everyone around me is just like, what is this guy talking about?
I'm begging.
But yeah, let's get Justin Spears in here, Damon, to see what his reaction to the NBA Finals last night was. How are we doing today, Justin?
Good, guys. The way you said post the clip, you sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger a little bit. Like, post the clip. Post it now. Happy Friday, kids. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you too, Justin. It has been, I feel like me and you have been holding strong here as far as the Justin Spears times Damon Farrell appearances on the AZ Wildcats pod. Like, I felt like it was you and Kevin's thing, but I don't know, man. I think we're sitting at like 3-4 shows in a row that your boys have been on, and Kevin can't say the same.
I can't. I also can't say like upcoming that it's going to change. Yeah.
We're on a heater right now, Damon. We're on an absolute heater. Maybe not as intense of a heater as Tyrese Halliburton right now. That it seems like every single playoff series, this guy has a clutch shot. Like if you really just like zoom out, I mean, if we just talk about the NBA Finals, I know we're going to talk about Arizona baseball and everything else, but like if you just like zoom out and just look at Tyrese Halliburton's playoff run right now, he tied, was it LeBron James? And there was someone else for like the most clutch field goals made in a playoff game. The most since 1997. Yeah. And it's like the most since 1997. And Tyrese Halliburton has like 5 of them just this year alone. So it's been really interesting to watch. Like Tyrese Halliburton didn't really have a good game yesterday. And then in the most clutch moment possible, he shows up. So the Pacers knocked him on their keister for game 1. Now, how is OKC going to bounce back? Man, I'm all in on these NBA Finals. But I do have you know what's really grinding my gears right now? There's no Larry O'Brien trophy on the court. And listen, I just want to go back to the old days. I don't want to sound like an old man yelling at clouds here, but man, there's just no, as the kids say, there's no aura. Like the Larry O'Brien trophy center court, the NBA Finals logo somewhere in the 3-point line. It's no longer there. Now it's replaced by a YouTube TV ad. And listen, I know that the NBA, YouTube TV, they got to pay the bills and everything. But, man, it's just a sign of the times where you see YouTube TV ads and then absolutely nothing on the court. And especially the Larry O'Brien trophy. Like, that needs to come back. But anyways, that's my rant for the day.
No, I think, don't they have the NBA play-in trophy on the court?
If I may, can I get on a soapbox really quick? They have these ugly ass NBA play-in courts, and they take away. This is like when video games like EA and 2K, these big companies, they just do roster like reskins and then like take features away just to add them 2 years later and be like, aren't you guys happy that this is back? No, it should have never been gone in the first place. Bring the damn logo back to the court. Make it feel like it's not just like a very important regular season game between the Pacers and the Thunder. Because if we're being honest, no one cares about the Pacers and the Thunder. You have to make it feel like a big event, and they don't do that. They don't even do any of the pregame charades that they used to do. No player intros. It's just Malika Andrews and Perk just being like, can Tyrese Halliburton's new shoes look any better? It's like, it's cool, but can we get to the damn NBA Finals? Can we make it feel big? Can we make it feel important and not just like it's a regular game on damn League Pass? I'm done. But I did bring that up real quick, Damon. I brought that up for a purpose, and I'm glad Spears brought it up because our guy RJ had this to say on Twitter in relation to this hat. That's a beautiful hat that says, put the Larry O'Brien trophy back on the finals court. RJ said, can I get one? And I think based on the conversation we're having, we're all in alliance here with RJ.
I do have to say that, like, I feel like it's the momentum is building for the streets being loud enough to make change here and move some mountains in terms of like the NBA actually doing something different with their finals court. But it's insane that you would have that for the play-in tournament. You get rid of it for the finals, even though it's iconic. It reminds me of like the Super Bowl logos as well. It's another like very similar thing where it's like you look at the old Super Bowl logos and you're like, wow, that's special. Like the Patriots Packers Super Bowl in New Orleans has like all types of Mardi Gras stuff all over it. It's
know exactly which Super Bowl that is.
Yeah, exactly. It's specified to each particular city that it was in and whatnot. And now, you just get like the silver sleek look to every single Super Bowl logo. It's egregious, man. What happened to the sports that we fell in love with growing up?
What happened to the game I love?
What happened to the game that I love? And even like the NBA logos are now turning into everyone's got the same one. It's just a circle with their logo and then the name of the city they're in and then the mascot. It's just nothing seems original. And I'm like, man, NBA is trending towards a territory that I don't want it trending towards. But anyways, Bennedict Mathurin, great block last night. I mean, TJ McConnell nearly blew it for the Pacers with that inbounds pass. I mean, he turned it over and it resulted in a basket. But it's a big week for the McConnell family. I don't know if you guys saw this, but sister Megan McConnell signing with the Phoenix Mercury, and then TJ now playing in his first NBA Finals. Who would have thought, man? TJ McConnell, Timothy John McConnell, coming out of Arizona as an undrafted guard. No one thought in 2015 that TJ would turn out to be a professional basketball player in the NBA. I thought he was going to make his money playing in Paris or Spain or Italy, somewhere overseas. But he's carved himself out a 10-year NBA career. And now he's in the NBA Finals and could be that next Wildcat to hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy. I'm super excited. And I'm also super excited for Bennedict Mathurin, too, because he's the first Tommy Lloyd era Wildcat to get to the NBA Finals. I know he was recruited by Sean Miller, but the first Tommy Lloyd guy. And I know that Tommy Lloyd is also super invested in these NBA Finals, too, because of the Gonzaga connection as well.
Yep.
He recruited Andrew Nembhard and Chet Holmgren to Gonzaga. So Tommy Lloyd, from what I've heard, Tommy Lloyd is all in on these NBA Finals and is glued to every single minute. So,
it's really, really funny that you worded everything you worded in the exact way that you did, because pre-show, Damon and I were having a discussion about like how interesting it is, like who gets credit for an NBA draft pick, right? Like if you recruited a player and you coach that player for a year and then you move on, someone else comes in, they coach them for like 8 months, and then that player is now in the league. who gets credit for that? And Damon and I were kind of having like a little bit of a conversation about like, well, do you count Bennedict Mathurin as a Sean Miller guy? Do you count him as a Tommy Lloyd guy? And we're going to talk more about that towards the end of the show when we talk about like, can Tommy Lloyd catch up to Lute Olson's NBA draft, resume, I'll say. But yeah, no, could not be more excited for TJ McConnell, as you say, Timothy John McConnell, and Bennedict Mathurin as well. And maybe I should be a little more locked in on these playoffs. If you say our humble hero Tommy Lloyd is locked in, maybe I should be more locked in too. Who knows?
Absolutely, man. And I know this is the first NBA Finals where both fan bases refer to dinner as supper, and they both refer to pop as soda. But if we talk about just the product on the court, I mean, Halliburton versus SGA, I think this is a battle between two big-time superstars. And honestly, Indiana stealing game one, people thought that OKC was just going to run through Indiana. And for them to take game one, they set the tone. So sign me up for 6 or 7 games of this.
It's been a lot of that this entire NBA playoffs where the favored team loses game one after having a well-established lead, kind of choking it away. And then the underdog wins that game one and goes on to win the series. It's happened to Kevin's Celtics with the Knicks. It happened to the Knicks versus the Pacers. And then now the Pacers start things off in this series doing the same thing. So, I mean, it would be interesting to see, like, this isn't an NBA podcast, but Kevin and I did talk about, like, the Pacers have the depth in particular. And part of that is Ben Mathurin and TJ McConnell. They just have such a deep rotation of players that they can throw at you. And, I think it wears teams down eventually. Like, you constantly have fresh legs being thrown onto the court. And the Thunder are obviously like one of the deepest teams in the league, probably the deepest team in the league. But I think that the Pacers are very uniquely set up to match up against a team like that, just because they have so many people that they can throw at them.
Absolutely. And who was very complimentary of TJ McConnell recently was LeBron James, arguably the greatest player of all time. He went on Steve Nash's podcast and said, people really discredit TJ. I mean, he's a very underrated player. Now, of course, I'm paraphrasing here, but LeBron said something along the lines of, people think, okay, when Tyrese Halliburton's on the bench, then it's like, okay, now we can get the Pacers. Now we can really get back into this game. But if you really look at the minutes of TJ McConnell being on the floor during that stretch, the Pacers might outscore you 9-3 or an 8-2 or something like that. Like, you may think you're going to get the Indiana Pacers, but TJ McConnell just knows how to keep the ship afloat. He's never a liability. He's a really good player. And then he's great for when you want to give your superstar player like a Tyrese Halliburton a breather. So TJ McConnell's an NBA coach's dream. Like, every team would love to have a guy like TJ McConnell, and it's nice to see him have a great career. And it's cool to see the Arizona presence with the NBA Finals, not just with TJ, but you got Bennedict, and then you mentioned Richard Jefferson as well. The NBA or the Arizona presence is really strong with these NBA Finals.
It's an undeniable brand, and I know you'll appreciate this, and I'll make this, unless Damon has something else, the last thing we talk about with the NBA Finals. I feel like you'll appreciate this, though, Justin. Are you aware of, like, what went on with the Hallie ones last night and Halliburton's new shoe?
Yeah, he put it up on the podium.
Yeah, well, yeah, he debuted his signature shoe last night. Like, that was the first time he wore it on the court.
What brand is it? I didn't even see this.
What brand is it? Is it Puma? Like, what brand is it?
Yeah, it's Puma.
Friday, so you might as well throw it out there.
I think it's Puma. I think it is Puma. But either way, he debuted his Hallie ones, regardless of the brand. And could there have been a more, like,
Puma.
perfect debut for your new product? Like, I think back to the Tiger Woods, like, you're wearing the hat right now, Justin, the Tiger Woods Nike ad where he goes for that putt and it just rolls and rolls and rolls, slows and slows and stops on the Nike logo and then falls in. Like, it kind of like you can't script those moments. And I feel like Tyrese Halliburton debuting his shoe and then having a classic NBA Finals near buzzer beating shot, that was crazy to me. And yeah, are you going to be copping some Hallies or what? What the Hallie?
What the Hallie? No, never been a Puma guy. Definitely been more of a Nike and a Jordan guy. I got a couple pairs of Adidas, but yeah, definitely Team Nike and Team Jordan for sure.
Yeah, I'm in the same neck of the woods there, Justin. I got like 2 or 3 pairs of Adidas, but for the most part, it's about that stripe, or not the stripe light, the check mark.
The swoosh, baby. Yes, sir. Checks over stripes.
But yeah, TJ McConnell, I real quick, regarding your LeBron conversation, LeBron called him one of his favorite players in the NBA on his podcast. And I know that Jimmy Butler and TJ McConnell are extremely close as well from their time in Philadelphia together for half a season. Like he does have that effect, I think, on the bigger name players in the league that, are around him because they respect his game so much. And it just goes to show how, really what a remarkable career that the guy has carved out for himself. And Justin, we talked about it, I think last week, like no one other than Sean Miller thought that this guy was going to be in the NBA at all, let alone for 10 years. And you had Sean Miller calling shots Babe Ruth style, being like, this is a 10-year NBA player. And everybody's like, what are you, insane? And here he is in year 10 in the NBA finals. It's awesome to see. Mathurin, I think, is a guy that, still really hasn't reached his ceiling, but he shows a lot of those flashes from time to time. And it's, I think he has a long ways to go in his NBA career of where, I think you'll see a lot of more improvement and he'll only continue to get better and better. But Arizona Pacers up 2-0 in the finals here on the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes, sir.
And we will in fact claim that.
Hell yeah, man.
This is now a Yes Sirs Indiana Pacers podcast.
I like it.
That is dope. I do love Yes Sirs.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so me and the boys last night when the shot went in, we're just screaming, Yes Sirs! Yes, Sirs! It's electric. You can't. It's hard to get better than that without being like like Damon says, like being a cornball. Like Yes Sirs, I feel like really walks that tightrope of like almost corny, but really cool, and it's right down that middle line.
Shane can attest to this. I'm a big me and him are big shorten a word down to a thing that you really don't have any idea what it's about. Like if I just said I gotta watch the Sirs game, you'd be like, what sport is that?
The Lancers? Are
Yeah.
we watching Murray State?
Is this a South Point Catholic high school football game? But yeah, I love a good just let's shorten it up and make it like I wish the Broncos went with the Coes.
The Coes.
How fire would that be?
Going to the Coes game on Sunday. It's gonna be a cold one.
Jeez Louise.
Spears got nothing. We've made Spears speechless. He's
I'm
a man that always has things.
I'm stumped right now. I'm usually chock full of words, but I don't know what to say to this right now.
For the first time, we have in fact made Justin Spears speechless. Ladies and gentlemen, remember this moment. This is a where were you type of moment. But unfortunately, another where were you type of moment. 9 a.m. this morning, first pitch.
Oh boy.
Arizona baseball versus UNC. Just a disastrous, horrific, terrible event that went down earlier today. So Justin, were you watching the game? Unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I watched a little bit of it, and I turned it off after I realized that Arizona was not coming back in this game. Once they got down by 10 runs, I was like, okay, I think we can call it a day now. And that's exactly what Chip Hale said to his team after the game. My colleague Michael Lev from the Arizona Daily Star, he's out there in Chapel Hill right now covering the game for Tucson.com and the Star, and that's the thing that Chip Hale said. It was just flush this game, flush it. Arizona lost 18-2. I mean, they lost by a couple of touchdowns and a 2-point conversion in baseball. Like that should not happen. And listen, I knew that North Carolina was going to be a tough team. I really did. I mean, they have the third best ERA in college baseball right now. They have the ACC Pitcher of the Year and Jake Knapp, who's built like a right tackle. He's 6'5", 270 pounds. Like that's a big boy. And they have really good pitchers. They're also outscoring their opponents. When you tack on today's game, over the last 5 games, they're outscoring their opponents 56-16, which is just absolutely absurd right now. North Carolina is playing some of the best baseball in college baseball right now. So Arizona, they have their work cut out for them. They knew that this was going to be a tough game. North Carolina is a really tough team. I mean, they went on the road and won. They beat Oklahoma, right? Yeah. Or was it on the road or was it North Carolina?
That was at North Carolina.
Yeah.
That was at North Carolina. So but they beat Oklahoma for their regional, and they're just one of the top teams in baseball right now. And I think the ACC is very underrated, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. I don't know who's on the mound for the Wildcats. I don't know if it's Smith Bailey, the superstar freshman, or if they're going to go with Raul. Either or, I mean, those are two really solid options. But now it's win or go home for Arizona. This was a club that has dealt with some ups and downs. Like this team was falling apart at the end of the regular season, with that series against Utah, that rocky start against Houston in the final series of the regular season. And then what do they do when they wanted to prove something in that Big 12 baseball tournament? They ended up winning the whole damn thing. And then they go to Eugene. Now, I know they didn't play the host in Oregon, right? They kind of got lucky with the Cal Poly Utah Valley draw, but they looked dominant in every single game that they played. So we'll see how this team can bounce back. They've been down before. They fought back. This is not really unfamiliar territory for Arizona, and now it's win or go home for the Cats.
Yeah, you're right. They are battle tested, and that's the one thing that I think you can hang your hat on as an Arizona fan is like they've had their backs up against the wall before. There was a time where people were wondering if they were going to, find themselves not making the NCAA tournament after they lost that game to Houston, right after they lost that Utah series, where they were really reeling at the end of the year, and they were able to figure it out. Also, Jake Knapp at UNC, he moves to 14-0 on the season. He's probably the best pitcher in all of college baseball. Like it's going to be hard to beat a guy like that. And you could make the argument that Arizona's probably most likely route to winning this series was losing game one and winning the next two games of the series. So, I know it feels bad, and 18-2 is never going to feel good ever, but it does. I feel like there's a little bit more silver linings than probably that scoreline would suggest. 17 hits to 10 hits, like that doesn't reflect an 18-2 scoreline. Obviously the UNC did a good job getting the ball out of the park, especially early on, and
it could have been more if it wasn't for Aaron Walton going Air Jordan out there in right center. Man, that was an impressive catch.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing that people were talking about regarding this game was the humidity factor of it. Like, I guess I think you had some the pitcher throw up, one of the relief pitchers throw up after he came off the mound at one point, and Chip Hale said he wasn't using it as an excuse, but also said something to the effect of like, they've never really experienced stuff like this before, and he saw more like perspiration off of his players than he had seen since he could remember. Which again, it's like not an excuse, but
context.
But yeah, it's a lot of factors. One of the best pitchers in all of college baseball. You got to do what Torey Lovello says so often, what Chip Hale said, word for word, Kevin.
I know.
I will have you know.
It was where I was going next. Just say it, bro.
Flush it, brother. Just hit that lever and just flush it. Means nothing.
Yeah. Now, I think that Arizona, they're still in a really good chance. I know. They're in a really good chance.
I can't do it, Spears. I can't do it. I thought I escaped the Lovelloisms when I left the Diamondbacks beat to focus primarily on the AZ Wildcats podcast. And here is Chip Hale just using my favorite saying, oh, we just got blown out and embarrassed. Just flush it. Forget it ever happened. It actually didn't. You didn't lose that game 18-2. Fake. It's fake. It's not real. It was a dream. It was an illusion. Flush it. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it less when Chip Hale says it, but it gives me PTSD from my time on the Diamondbacks podcast.
But hey, D-backs playing some damn good baseball right now. Winners of
Corbin
4
Burns,
straight.
Tommy John, though.
Great. Oh, man, that's a bummer. I didn't know about that.
That just broke from Jeff Passan.
Oh, did he just break that?
Yeah. Like 2 minutes ago.
That's a bummer. That's a huge loss for the D-backs.
It's a massive loss.
You should have held that from me until the end of this podcast.
Oh, no. Honestly, I thought you knew. I assumed it was out there.
Have fun. No, you know what? Just take me off screen. You and Justin just do the rest of the podcast, bro.
Can I like pull in a sub? Like, can I get like...
It was a good season. It was fun. We had a good time. We thought we were maybe going to have good pictures. We don't. Yeah, it's awesome.
Damn, I thought you knew that because Diamondbacks had just tweeted it. So I thought you had like post noties on. You probably do have post noties on, but you're a professional, so you're doing the podcast. You're not checking your noties. That's my bad, Damon. Hand up. You gotta know your audience.
Noties?
Yeah, noties, like notifications.
No, oh my gosh, man.
What did I do?
I'm such an unk. I had no idea that was a thing. Post noties. Okay.
This
Man,
has been a really
I'm
good
learning
episode.
something
We
new.
made Spears speechless. We're making
teaching
him
him
feel
lingo.
old.
Teaching him lingo.
We're hitting outside the park today.
I like
Hopefully
it. I
Arizona
like it.
baseball can take notes.
Check the noties. Okay. Noted on the noties. But yeah, I think for Arizona baseball, they have the arms to do it. I don't know who's on the mound for the second game. I don't know if you guys know that, but Smith Bailey was impressive down the stretch for Arizona because he's a young player who's developing, and as the season progressed, he got better and he looked great in the Big 12 tournament. So I would love to see Smith Bailey step on the mound and be the big hero for the Arizona Wildcats, and then fortunately for the U of A, they have one of the best closer, if not the best closer in the game, in Tony Pluta, who was just named the finalist for the Stopper of the Year, which is the award given to college baseball's top closer. And he's got, I think it was like a .98 ERA, so he is shut down. Like he is maybe the best closer in all of college baseball right now. So the Wildcats have it. Now, whatever just happened a few hours ago, sorry, Kevin, flush it, and let's move on to the next game. And I've seen Arizona baseball teams in the past have their backs up against the wall, and I've seen some of those teams go on to compete in the College World Series. So I'm not giving up on Arizona just yet.
Yeah, North Carolina is going to be a tough task. Like when it's the sixth inning and Arizona is batted through, they have 3 frames left to put up. It's the score line is 2-10, 2-10 in favor of North Carolina after Arizona bats in the top of the 6th. North Carolina goes out there, makes it 2-12. Like I'll be honest, like at that point, I think you're kind of moved on to the next game. Like I don't take a ton of stock into the insurance runs that UNC scored at the end of the game. I feel like from a mentality standpoint, like Chip Hale probably was like on to tomorrow, and like there's nothing you can do really at that. That's baseball from time to time. So it's as much as people, Arizona residents hate that saying, you do genuinely just have to flush it. But just a brutal loss this morning, and hopefully. Here's what I'll say. Like, this is one of those situations where I get on my knees, I look up towards the heavens, and I say, just give us a chance. Just get it to game 3. You know what I mean? Like give us tomorrow so that we go into game 3 thinking to ourselves, like, could pull this out. That's really where I'm at as a fan.
Well, and also, looking at, some of the other games early on in the season, back in March, they lost to West Virginia 11-3. This game was in Morgantown, and then they bounced back the next game and won 11-4.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward to Houston. They lost that first game 13-4. They won the next game 14-6. So Chip Hale, Kevin Vance, the pitching coach, these guys know how to make the proper adjustments. And what are they going to do in game 2? We shall see. Now, for the good news for Chip Hale, and we kind of actually talked to him about it on the show, is, man, he definitely felt a sense of relief, right? Because he hasn't taken Arizona this far to the NCAA tournament. Now, he did say, Kobe, job's not finished. We still have lots of baseball to play, but Arizona is finally making it to the super regional round under Chip Hale, and now they're starting to learn this process, this stage, and how do they overcome that. And like we've talked about earlier, it's they've been put in the corner, they've dealt with some bad losses, and they've bounced back every single time. And I'm very confident that Arizona will take care of business in game 2, and let's get to game 3 and let's see what happens.
Interesting note per Brian Peterson, Arizona has had the lowest amount of home runs given up by a power conference team throughout the course of this season, despite giving up 4 in one game today. So that's even with today's factored in, still the lowest, and went through the season with the least amount of home runs given up. So hopefully it really was just a fluke game, and you're going up against the other team's ace, which, to be fair, they did get up 2 runs on Jake Knapp, which is fairly impressive given how remarkable he is as a pitcher. But I think it's just it was an unconventional game for Arizona, really, by every sense of the word. Like it wasn't the way that they play baseball. It wasn't the way that they've played pretty much all year long. And obviously you're not going to win games when you're giving up 4 bombs per. So just got to mitigate those mistakes from a pitching standpoint a little bit better, and hope the bats wake up a little bit. But tomorrow 9 a.m. Lock in.
9 a.m. again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
And listen, I'm not going to allow one game to do the Men in Black where they take out that flash thing and flash you and make you forget about everything. I know Arizona fans want to forget about that game, what we just saw, but I don't forget about the team that went into Eugene and outscored its opponents 31-6. I don't forget about the team that outscored everyone else in the postseason before today 49-9. So let's see at 9 a.m. tomorrow if the Wildcats have something up their sleeve.
How do we feel about these early starts, by the way, boys?
Brutal.
It's great. It's absolutely great. Now you're also talking to a guy.
On our hands, Damon. Morning bird.
Yeah,
the
man.
guy does a daily show 7 to 9 a.m. on ESPN Tucson.
Yeah, man. I wake up at 4:45 every single day. So you're like, oh, how do you guys feel about 9 a.m.? I'm like, brother, I'm like thinking about lunch at that time. So
yeah, I did a Spears and Ali show with my guy Ben White when Justin was out on vacation recently. It was like probably about like 4 months ago or something, and I woke up at like 5:30 and was like, I went on like a run, and I was like trying to like juice myself up for the having to talk that early in the morning. It is truly an impressive feat, sir.
See, it's funny. It's funny because I did Spears and Ali as like a guest. I came on and spoke one time a couple months ago during basketball season, and I did my spot from my bed. Like I had woken up 10 minutes prior, got water, said what's up to my dog, and answered a phone call and talked about Arizona Wildcats basketball, because that's just how I roll.
What's up?
No, see, that's why I did the
Justin?
10 minutes before, so I could at least not have that good morning kind of voice. You know what I mean? I got to get up, get some water, say some words, like do your little Sally cells, sea cells by the seashore in the mirror, whatever you got to do.
I mean, some of us, Kevin, are just born with it, like you, and some of us, like me, we have to wake up 3 hours before. We gotta go through our head, like, is this everything I want to say on the show today? And I guess that's just the difference between me and you.
Well, no, the difference is that you can get up and do a run, and I would get up and absolutely stay in bed. So that's the real difference.
Mm-hmm. The trick that I have discovered is a cold plunge in the pool or a cold shower.
1,000%. I am a huge advocate of both of those things.
Yeah.
When I was like, back when I was trying to get in shape, back in my heyday, like last year, I would like literally, I would sit in the sauna for two sessions of like 25, 30 minutes. And then after I got out of there, I would like sit in the pool for like 5 minutes, cool my body down. Is there a better feeling in the world than like going out of a hot sauna into a cold pool and just your body just totally resetting? Like all the stress endorphins that got released in the sauna in your brain start to dissipate, and they get replaced with like actual like serotonin and real endorphins. I'm such a
sauna guy. I love saunas, man.
Couldn't be any more of a sauna guy, dude. If money wasn't a problem, I would live in a sauna somehow. I would figure it out. I would be like that guy that like injects himself with baby blood to stay alive forever. I would just be alive forever because of my sauna house. And that's just what I would do, Damon.
Steam rooms, baby. Steam rooms are where it's at. Steam rooms.
You know what? What's the difference? That's one of those things, because I've been in both, and I enjoy both of them probably about equally. But like, what is the major difference?
I think the steam room helps you more with your respiratory as well. Like the moisture and the warmth of the air and stuff, like the humidity levels, I think helps clear out like your lungs and your mucus stuff.
Dry
more
heat
than a
versus
sauna.
moist heat.
So it's like the sauna is Tucson right now. The steam room is Chapel Hill.
Yes.
What Arizona is experiencing right now. So.
Precisely. Yeah. And also like the
such
sauna,
a good comparison.
The sauna pretty much like cooks you from the inside out. Like an infrared sauna cooks you from the inside out. Mm-hmm. Like a regular Swiss barrel situation, like wooden slats everywhere, that's going to cook you from the outside in. It's just, I don't know. Self-care, folks. Got to get on that. But like Spears said, it is like Tucson to Chapel Hill. I think I kind of glossed over it because I was in the middle of finishing my thought. But also, like, that was an insane comparison to just pull in the moment like that.
Fire.
We're not just going to gloss over it. That's why Spears is on this show, because that's this kind of generational talent you get with Justin Spears.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we got a little bit, a couple quick hitters here to touch on. There is there's now going to be voting for the new Mexican Baseball League team, Justin, and we were wondering if
yeah.
you did you have any sort of inside info on that, or the Toros maybe going to be involved, as we talked about on a
Sure.
couple episodes ago?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, sorry for my quick answer just now. I was like, let me keep it short because I know you guys got to do some ad reads and stuff like that. So I was like,
Oh, no,
thank
we're
you.
good.
Thank you. And it's going to go right into ad reads. And then it was like, all right, Justin, talk more. Come on, man. No, but going back to your question, yeah, dude, the Mexican baseball team that's coming here, they are opening up the team name to voting. So in its first season, which is getting started in October, and the season will carry over into, I think the last day of the regular season is on New Year's Eve, and then the playoffs are in January. So it is the Mexican Pacific Winter League. And the team that's coming to Tucson, Mayos de Navajoa, obviously they're not going to keep that name, so they're going to go as the Tucson baseball team. They're going to be the Washington, what is now the Commanders, right? They were the Washington football team for a couple years, and then the team that just the hockey team that just left Arizona and decided to go to Utah. They were called the Utah Hockey Club, and then became the Utah Mammoth. Well, Tucson's like, no, we want to take our time with this. We want to make sure that we get it right. Now, caution, Tucson. Washington took their sweet ass time and they got it wrong. And that's why I'll always call them the Washington C words, right? So
bad.
So be careful.
The worst name in sports, Justin.
I know, man. And like their fan base are like, yo, we still call them the Skins. So I'm like, okay, how about this? Pigskins, right? I don't know. Like the Washington Pigskins, and then their fan base that wears the pigs noses and all that. Like,
yeah, the pig stuff was all right in front of them, like Red Hogs or something like that. They could have kept the red portion of it. Like, it was so obvious, and they just screwed it up in every sense of the word.
Yeah. So now that they're called the Washington C words on Spears and Ali. So yeah, the Tucson baseball team, they want to make sure that the Tucson fan base feels connected with them, and they want the people of Tucson to feel responsible for this great team name, because we've seen some teams in the past that have come to Tucson and they just said, okay, this is our name, get used to it, right? And now this baseball team, they're like, hold on, we want everyone in Tucson to be a part of this, so we're going to open it up for voting. And I've already seen the logo. I think they're going to be like navy blue or something like that. If what I'm looking at the hat,
it's a little lighter than navy, but yeah,
I've seen that hat.
Yeah. And so I thought that they should be Los Toros de Tucson, and just kind of pay homage to the Tucson Toros, the longest tenured professional team in Tucson. So I think eventually it will probably be called that, because I think a lot of Tucsonans will vote for that. But yeah, man, I don't know what other name we could possibly think of. I know we've talked about it in the past on the show. If you want to go by one team name, and then on an off night go by the Churros or the Chimichangas or something like that.
The Sonoran Dogs, that has to be it, right? The Sonoran
Dogs.
The
Sonoran Dogs, or the
wiener dog,
Chicharrones.
or a Chihuahua inside a bun with the top. That's what I think you do. The Sonoran Dogs, put it on a hat. I'd wear that every day.
That's what I'm saying. And people in Tucson love merch. They will buy your merch. Like, I was actually talking to the Tucson Saguaros guy. And if you don't know about the Tucson Saguaros, they are in the independent Pecos League. They have teams in California. They've got teams in New Mexico and Texas. And it's just kind of like along the Interstate 25. That's where it originated. It went from like Texas all the way up to, I think, Denver, Colorado. And sorry, my dog is going to town on some food right now. So if you hear something munching in the background, that's my apologies. But yeah, it's this independent baseball league that's got no affiliation to Major League Baseball or minor league baseball. And it's independent. So like, these are guys that are like scrapping and clawing to play baseball, or guys that just know that their best years are past them, but they love the sport of baseball and they want to feel like they're a part of a team. So this is like junior college baseball essentially. And these guys are so passionate about the game. And the owner of the Tucson Saguaros, he said our merchandise sells like hotcakes. Like, we have the the largest sales in the Pecos League. And I think if you include like other minor league baseball teams too, the Tucson Saguaros are like top 100 in baseball merch sales, which I find very interesting.
Yeah, I think it goes to show that people in Tucson want to rep their city. And people, I feel like there's people like me where like, you know, you leave Tucson and you want to, you know, you want to rep a little bit when you're you know, out in a different place. And Tucson Saguaros is a cool name, objectively. Like that is objectively cool. And it fits, and it's you know, it's very localized, it's very specific. Like that's I would wear a Tucson Saguaros hat. So it's very, very interesting. I would imagine that this merch will do pretty well as well in relation to what the other you know, Mexican Baseball League teams are doing merch wise. Although I will say the Yaquis and the
was it Hermosillo?
That was not proper.
Yeah, Hermosillo, Naranjeros. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, those two teams do have a lot of merch, and you will see a lot of that walking around Tucson. But maybe third, maybe pop in third. Who knows?
Absolutely. And the history of this league is so cool too. You know, when I looked more into the, you know, when the league started, it started after World War II. So this league has been around for decades. And I didn't know this, but this was the same professional league that produced Fernando Valenzuela, the star pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. You know, before Fernando Mania happened in LA, he was pitching for the team that's coming to Tucson, Arizona. He pitched for Mayos. Ricky Henderson, the late, great Ricky Henderson, who played for the A's, who played for the Yankees. I mean, maybe the coolest baseball player of all time. He played for Mayos. So the team that's coming to Tucson, Arizona, man, they've got some very unique history and some connections to some pretty big-time baseball players for sure.
Kevin, do we even know what I'm being accused of being subjective, I guess?
No. I think he's saying thank you for being objective. Like
regarding,
I don't know.
But I'm saying I think that, have you met Zach Bossy? I'm pretty sure that is a sarcastic comment.
It probably is. I mean,
so I'm wondering what I said that was so opinion. I didn't think I said anything that crazy.
Yeah, I don't even think you had an opinion on something that could be taken any which way. We're talking about Mexican baseball here. I don't even think Zach Bossy knows that this league exists. So
you can't win with Zach.
You really can't. You know, he's leaving the office soon though. So,
well, Justin, I know you got some things to attend to, so we will get you out of here. We appreciate you rocking with us today on a Friday, and we will get you back on next week.
Before we get Spears out of here, I want to show him one thing, and I have a quick question for you, Justin. Teteroa McMillan, now a Carolina Panther, former greatest Arizona Wildcat receiver of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very talented guy, right? Extremely good at the football stuff. We know that. We've seen it every Saturday, soon on Sundays. We even saw him kind of singing, you know, a little bit during his draft party.
Beautiful voice.
Would you buy a Teteroa McMillan art piece, Justin?
I can't tell. Is that a gerbil?
Your guess is as good as mine, brother.
I think that's a panther.
That's supposed to be a panther.
I think that's the Panthers logo.
Okay.
Well, we did draw logos here in the office, and my Panthers was way better than T-Mac's Panthers, and I take a lot of pride in that because he's wearing the merch every damn day.
Wow. And of course, like in typical fashion, it's the sun is always in the corner, man. That's the easiest thing any artist could ever do is just a little yellow half circle in the corner of the page for the sun. So the sun looks great, but the Panther, T-Mac definitely needs a little bit of work, but I'll buy for sure.
You know what? I disagree with you that it needs work. That was special. Everything that our sweet boy does is special, and
it's going on the fridge.
He is the voice of an angel. I'm putting that one on the fridge. You name it, man. T-Mac he's the best at everything he does. But thank you so much for joining us, Justin. We appreciate you. Check out Spears and Ollie every weekday from 7 to 9 a.m. Check out his work with the Arizona Daily Star at Tucson.com. Justin Spears, we will see you next week, sir, on the AZ Wildcats podcast.
Appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend.
Well, Kevin, we got a little bit of Lute Olson versus Tommy Lloyd to get into, and we'll do that right after the break here on the AZ Wildcats podcast.
You know, Damon, my mom's in the chat saying something about Andy Warhol painting soup cans. I think that's in relation to T-Mac's artistry, but art can get expensive. And if you like to spend art but don't want to lose track of your finances, the best way to do that is with Monarch Money. Monarch Money is the budgeting app that you will soon fall in love with, because I have also fallen in love with it. It's what I'm using to try to get my finances on track. You can track your income, your expenses, you can set goals, reach goals. Monarch Money is the overall financial tool that you need to get yourself in the life that you really want, right? Because finances, money can't buy happiness, but it can give you the freedom to be happy. And I think that Monarch Money can help you out with that today. I learned that I was spending way too much money on subscription services. I had like 6 different streaming services, Damon. I watch one show at a time. The hell's the point of having so many? Monarch Money helped me realize that. So start managing your finances to build the life you actually want. Monarch makes managing money simple, even for busy lives like Damon Farrell. It was also named Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025. So if you want something that's critically acclaimed, effective, and will save you some money, Monarch Money is the way to go. We're going to try to save you some money on saving money with Monarch with a 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code PHNX. So check out Monarch Money. Get control of your finances at monarchmoney.com with code PHNX.
I was just thinking about how I needed to do like some sort of like spreadsheet, like figure out my financial situation. I know what I'm gonna do and make it easy. Just download Monarch Money app and just sign up, and I'll figure everything out. Another thing that a lot of people struggle figuring out is some flooring in their home that they love. Here's where Empire Today comes in. They are going to make sure that you love your flooring before they even install it in your home.
Gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. I'm sitting on some Empire Today flooring right now, as Kevin points out. Despite the savages and freaks that run this office, we have kept this flooring very pristine. I think it just goes to show the level of fortitude and strength that this flooring has, the quality of product that it is as well. I mean, Empire Today it checks all the boxes when it comes to meeting your flooring needs. Get a free in-home estimate. They'll show up. They're going to use their virtual floor designer, show you what that floor is going to look like in your room that you're getting that new flooring in before you make such a big purchase that you end up hating. And that's why Empire Today is the best. PHNX promo code is going to get you $350 off. Head on over to empiretoday.com for additional info. But yeah, use that promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/PHNX for full details.
Well, Damon, I threw a tweet out there today. And honestly, I was thinking about this pre-show with you about like if Tommy Lloyd continues on the pace that he's currently on, will he catch Lute Olson's current tally of NBA guys that he has put into the draft? Lute Olson, where do you even start with talking about Lute Olson, right? Like one of the greatest coaches college basketball has ever seen, one of the most influential coaches at his level, one of the most well-respected coaches at his level. And like I said, one of the most impactful coaches. He put 55 players into the NBA during his 34 seasons as a college basketball coach at the D1 level. 34 of those 24 seasons, 34 players from Arizona during his time in Tucson made it to the NBA, Damon. Making over $1 billion. An insane resume as a coach to make your players combined $1 billion and have 55 of them turn pro, I believe, 24 NBA/world champions as well. So it is an insane resume. And by bringing up the conversation, I'm not trying to actually say that, oh, well, Tommy Lloyd's going to catch Lute Olson, guaranteed. No, I'm not trying to say that. But it is an interesting conversation to have, Damon. And do you think that Tommy Lloyd can catch Lute Olson, or are those numbers just too gaudy?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're looking at, really, for me, it's more of an age-related discussion than it is, can Tommy Lloyd, does he have the chops to do it, right? Like, Tommy's 50. I think you're looking at, with the coach that I think me and you both think that he is, about 20 more years of Tommy Lloyd, as the head coach of Arizona basketball. Yeah, I mean, I think that number is semi-reachable in that time period, right? Like, you have Lute Olson getting 55 NBA products in 24 seasons, right?
Correct.
34 at Arizona in his 24 seasons.
Yeah, 55 overall combined when you look at Iowa, averaging the 1 year at Long Beach State.
A little bit less than 1.5 per year. And so Tommy Lloyd, he has 5 as of right now through 4 seasons. He's 1 away from reaching that mark of 1.5 per year, that rate that Lute Olson found himself on, and Kevin has here on screen the Tommy Lloyd players that have gone to the NBA. So Christian Koloko, Ben Mathurin, Dalen Terry, Kashad Johnson, and Pella Larson. Of course, the first 3 names on that list, were recruited under Sean Miller and were committed under Sean Miller. Some of them even on the team when Sean Miller was the coach, like Koloko and Mathurin. Terry, kept his commitment solid. But to Tommy Lloyd's credit with those 2 players in particular, I think, you can make the argument that those careers are drastically different without Tommy Lloyd coming in. Christian Koloko, had never shown really that really high level starter ability under Sean Miller. Like he looked like a player and he looked like he had physical tools that, really can't be taught. Like that length is insane, right? Like that's
the rim protection instinct
of course,
as well.
Of course. Yeah. But at the same time, he hadn't really proven it at all. And, like the one play I remember of Christian Koloko in a Sean Miller, type of context is they were playing Oregon and Christian Koloko needed to make 1 free throw to win. And he missed both of them. Might've been to tie, but it was just brutal. Like that was the one thing I remember. Tommy Lloyd comes in and it's just a season of making movies with Christian Koloko. Ben Mathurin was a good player as a freshman, but he wasn't an elite player. He became a 2nd-team All-American with his 1 season under Tommy Lloyd, a top 10 pick in the NBA draft. Like you could, I mentioned this to you. I think you could make the argument that like, say Sean Miller is not let go, right? And he stays the coach at Arizona. Maybe Mathurin plays that sophomore season. He's good, but he's not great, right? Arizona is good, but they're not quite the level they were under Tommy Lloyd, which was top 10. They're like maybe more of a borderline ranked team. Mathurin gets called from a bigger program. He transfers into that program. Then he represents that school when he ultimately gets winded up as an NBA draft pick. I'm not doubting that Sean could have sent Ben Mathurin to the league, no doubt about it. But I do think that Tommy heightened his status, right? So, Tommy's looking at close to that 1.5 rate with 5 through 4 seasons. That's 1 player away from being 1.5 exactly. I think that he can reach it for sure. You look at this year's roster, you got 2 players at least, right? 2 players at least.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying when I was looking at this. I mean, the 5 that we just showed did not even count Carter Bryant, who's going to be drafted in a mere number of weeks here. Mm-hmm. So
true, it is 6 basically.
You have 6 players unofficially. You know what I mean?
And I think Caleb Love could get drafted potentially.
Correct.
I mean, probably not, but there's a chance he's like in the 50s or something like that.
Correct. So you could be looking at a final tally of 6 or on an outside shot of 7 NBA draft picks from Tommy Lloyd in just his first 5 seasons. And I think you look at next year's roster, you alluded to it, Koa Pete, Braden Burries, if they both turn out to be 75% of who you think that they could be, they're one and dones still, right? So I think you have 2 players that all things held consistent will be in the NBA draft next year. So now you're looking at 8, potentially 9 is the final tally. That's not even including the potential of a Dwayne Aristode to be a one and done, the potential of some of the other players on this roster next year to finally make the NBA, like a Jaden Bradley. Will he elevate his game to the point where the feedback is positive enough for him to go to the draft and actually get picked this time? Who knows? But Tommy Lloyd could really be speedrunning his way to that. And I think when you look at the level, and we talked about this yesterday, the level of recruits that he's bringing in, the level of recruits he's looking at every year, no reason why Arizona under Tommy Lloyd should not have 1 to 2 projectable NBA talents on their roster any given year. I know that's like the Arizona standard regardless, but we're looking at it with Caitlin Lowe right now, right? In a different way, where you go from having super high expectations with super high success to super high expectations with some success, right? So even if Tommy Lloyd had lowered the standard just a little bit from what Arizona had under Sean Miller and Lute Olson and all the coaches that came before Tommy Lloyd,
he'd still be put in players' league.
1,000%. And I think the fact that you have him as one of the best coaches in the country, you have him in Team USA, you have him at an age where you could, like you said, if he wanted to and his health stands up, he could go 20 more years, whether it be hopefully all 20 years at Arizona or, spread across the country, however you want to cut that. It looks like Tommy Lloyd's going to end up with about that many players in the NBA, if not more. And I think this is actually, like, before we continue this, it's a fun little thing to think about. Lute Olson made his players by getting them to the league over $1 billion combined. Now, I know inflation's a real thing, right? And, crazy economy, so smart. I know all about it. But I know one thing is that over time, sometimes the money you pay for something, the price increases every day. You know what I mean? So like what a gallon of milk was now ain't what it was back when Lute Olson was coaching.
Certainly
so
not.
I feel as though Tommy Lloyd's going to reach that billion for his players.
Oh my God, that's
way quicker than Lute Olson is. And I don't bring it up as some revelation, but I bring it up as like, how crazy is that, right? Like you can get 34 wild. Players into the league from one school, make them over $1 billion. But if Tommy Lloyd had got 34 players, like let's just map that out. Let's say he gets 34 players in the league.
$5 billion. Yeah, dude, depending on how good they are.
TJ McConnell's making almost $100 million on his new contract, right? Am I wrong on that?
I don't think that. No,
like combined isn't like an $80 million deal combined. Is it not? I don't know.
I will check. Look that seems rich, but
it does. But I'm saying like you have dudes
45.
Okay, I apologize.
4 years, 45.
That's pretty far off. But still,
but that's $10 million a year for a backup point guard.
That's what I'm saying. Like you have guys on the benches of these NBA rosters.
Damon Stoudemire might not have made $45 million in his entire career in the NBA. And he played longer than TJ's been in the league as of right now.
And then you map out what Bennedict Mathurin's contracts are going to look like, and then you talk about
Tommy needs
Carter Bryant going in the lottery.
Tommy needs some stars.
And now you're looking at Cole Pete and Brandon Burries as being that star that you allude to, Damon.
David Stoudemire earned $100 million, which is roughly 175 in today's money, according to Chat AI on Google, but which is always wrong.
It's so reliable though.
Yeah, super reliable. But yeah, no, and I wanted to get a couple of comments here in the chat involved. Jervis, do not apologize, sir. That is exactly what we were talking about. Sean Miller versus Tommy Lloyd versus Lute Olson, and kind of just from the Tommy Lloyd context of just looking at the players that technically he gets credit for putting in the league, and applying the context of how did he didn't recruit them, but how much did he really help forward these guys' career? And I think that you make the argument that he pretty much is the catalyst for all three of those guys to be drafted where they were, right? Like even Dalen Terry, he could have been an NBA player, but no chance he would have been the 18th pick under Sean Miller after one season. I mean, there is no chance of that.
I mean, even after his one season at Arizona, like, I don't know if you felt the same way, but I'm sure you were having similar conversations with your friends, the same way I was about, I think Dalen Terry should have stayed an extra year at Arizona because I didn't think he was going to get drafted as high as he did. And I think that's a credit to the way Lloyd utilized him in his system, really showcasing what Dalen Terry is good at on the basketball court, as opposed to having him out there trying stuff that maybe he's not as equipped to do. And maybe he would have gone a lot later in the draft, or maybe he would have had to come back an additional year completely. And then you look at Christian Koloko, like you alluded to earlier. The elevation of his game under Tommy Lloyd is exponential because you kind of, like you said earlier, you look at him like a guy, okay, yeah, crazy length, decent rim protector, actually really good rim protector, but like what else is there to his game, right? Can he move? Can he defend? Like, can he stick with this guy in the perimeter? And then Tommy Lloyd figures out like how to make him tick and how to make him impact winning on the basketball court. And all of a sudden he's played for 2 NBA teams and he would have had a more consistent NBA career if not for unfortunate health things that were going on in his life. And then you look at Bennedict Mathurin and it's like, is there a more well-utilized, well, there is, but at that top end usage level, has there been a guy that Tommy Lloyd's used better than Bennedict Mathurin from like that position, right? Like with the usage that he's expected to have,
he had the best single season of any Tommy Lloyd player thus far.
Yeah, like with the usage he's expected to have, the responsibility on his shoulders on both ends.
Yeah, he was great, man.
I think the supporting cast was good, but I think like in terms of like scoring and like helping him when the offense would slow down, he didn't really have that help. That like, I think if you put him on some other Tommy Lloyd rosters that he would have, right? So I think...
Well, you had guys like Tabellis and Kirk Kriisa who just shrunk to the tiniest, shrivel you could possibly imagine when the going got tough.
Yeah.
Oh, we're playing Princeton? I'm not going to make a bucket for the final 10 minutes of this basketball game.
Yeah, Bennedict, can you ISO and get around your man because you're a freak athlete and then yam on somebody 5 times in a row? Or are we going to have to like...
That's how we beat TCU.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
That's how we had to beat TCU.
Exactly.
That and Eddie Lampkin sucks ass at defense.
Exactly. And I don't think
the combination of those two things.
And so I think when you look at the players Tommy Lloyd is getting in, what he's doing with his talent, I think there's no reason that unless something unexpected happens, that Tommy Lloyd should not at one point in time surpass Lute Olson's mark of 34 players sent to the league at Arizona. Like I said, if he's still at Arizona, there's no reason why he shouldn't surpass that within like X amount of years, right?
I'm totally with you, Kevin. We're going to round out this discussion as we go into overtime here on the AZ Wildcats pod. Just some quick maths for you, Kevin. So if Lute Olson over 24 seasons at Arizona put at 34 players in the league, that puts Tommy Lloyd at needing to put about 1.5 players per season over the course of the final, or we're using this arbitrary 20-year number to kind of reach that threshold, right? If he was to put even more in the league, as Sam puts here in the comments, says Tommy will easily guys leave after their freshman year now compared to all 4 years when Lute was here.
It's a great point.
That's context that it needs to be applied in this discussion of, this is like you had a coach in Lute Olson who was a developer, and not that Tommy Lloyd isn't, but like college basketball is so much different. Obviously, you had guys that stayed 3-4 years every single time, right?
Lots of projects.
Exactly. And so it took longer to cycle in and guys out to get them to the league. Meanwhile, Tommy Lloyd, if he's going to continue to bring in these Koa Pete, Braden Burry's talents, that's going to be a year after year after year cycle. So that alone, I think, raises kind of the floor of what you might expect a Tommy Lloyd NBA, resume of players to look like, is the fact that just the one and done era and the fact that he's recruiting these blue chip level recruits. So honestly, with that context applied, I think it would be disappointing even if Tommy Lloyd didn't surpass Lute Olson. But if Tommy gets 2 players in the league for the next 15 years every year, he's at 35, which passes Lute Olson at 34 at Arizona. So that's really what you're looking at. Like, got to get like 1.5 over 20 years per year, or 2 over 15 years, or 3 over 10 years, and this is per year, I'm saying. I don't think that any of that is 3 is undoable, but 1 to 2, that feels like that's exactly what's going to happen. And I could see an average of 2. I really could see an average of 2 Arizona players going to the league year after year after year under Tommy Lloyd.
I could as well. And I was thinking to myself, Damon, this is not something I wanted to think about, but I think in terms of just the overall conversation we're having in a vacuum of can Tommy Lloyd reach this number of people in the NBA because Lute Olson did it?
Yeah.
It's important context we have to mention. If Tommy Lloyd were to ever leave Arizona, he's not leaving for a smaller school. You know what I mean? Like, he's not leaving for a smaller program. So I think even if he wouldn't,
I don't think he'd leave.
Period.
Any program.
I know. I agree. But I'm
the
saying
only one that you could even probably wrap your head around is like if Few retires, right? And like,
yes, but
that's always going to scare Arizona fans a little bit. I don't think that it's really much of a worry, but that's the only one I could even remotely in my head conjure. Like, Tommy is not the guy who's going to Kentucky.
I agree, but I'm saying, like, if in a hypothetical universe where he does leave, he is leaving for a school of that caliber.
Yeah, and
you think he's going to recruit worse there? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like
he'll recruit the same.
That's my point ultimately, is that no matter which way you cut it, this is an expected number for Tommy Lloyd to reach at this point. And he's kind of in a house of his own creation, right? Like, he has recruited very well. He has gotten the most out of his players. He has proven that he is one of the most, I'll say, I guess, up and coming, even though he's half a decade into it now, up and coming coaches at the college level, from a legacy standpoint, I'll say. And yeah, I'm just excited to see, like, at the end of his career, like, all the players he's gotten to the league and the impact that they've had in the NBA. We talked about, the 24 world championships that Lute Olson's players were able to win. We're talking about Bennedict Mathurin now in the NBA finals. I know we counted him as a Tommy Lloyd guy, but he's not like a true, like, I recruited you and this is my guy that I picked.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
you know what I mean? So it's going to be really cool to see that first Tommy Lloyd guy in the NBA finals and winning a championship and all that. I'm just thinking about championships now, Damon. We're in the NBA finals season, and then I'm thinking about how Tommy Lloyd can help the NBA finals be more entertaining.
Let's speak it into existence, brother. We need some championships in Tucson, starting with Arizona baseball maybe, and just kind of filtering its way down to Arizona football, Arizona basketball. I mean, we could use all of it. Sam asks, is this undrafted guys? Do they make this list? Yes, they do. Kashad Johnson counted as a Tommy Lloyd guy. Yeah. I believe he was an undrafted player. So, yeah, undrafted totally counts. It would be interesting. I would love to know the ratio. Obviously, I'm speaking on like that 1.5 to 2 players in the league per year number that, Lute Olson and Tommy Lloyd are kind of on the trajectory of. I wonder if Sean Miller, and this would require a little bit of extra research, but I wonder if he's above that by a little bit. I would venture to guess
like the ratio.
Yeah, I would venture to guess that he might have a little bit of a better ratio than both Tommy Lloyd and Lute Olson at this exact moment, just because of the combination of that one and done era. He's recruiting elite level talent, like all of that stuff.
Did you hear about Corbin Burns?
Come here.
Come on.
He did hear about Corbin Burns.
Oh my God.
Did Kevin told me live on...
I broke the news
Why
on
would
accident.
you do that to him?
It was on
Why
accident.
would you do that to
It
him?
was on
Isn't that
accident,
mean?
Derek.
Why would you do that to
I
him?
thought he knew.
Did you not
thought
want
he
him to be
knew.
productive for the rest of the show?
That's
Look
what
how
I thought
sad
he knew.
That's what I said.
I thought he knew.
I almost... See, Justin Spears is on with us today. I almost just said, Justin, you guys just finish out the show. I think I'm gonna log off for a while.
Yeah, I honestly thought
Brutal.
Damon had seen it like on his Twitter or something.
Well, yeah, it was like a 2-minute ago thing, and he's like,
tell him stuff like that again on air.
I'm emotional, okay? I'm emotional, and this stuff matters to me, all right? But yeah,
it means
brutal
everything.
break for the D-backs.
Means everything. Means everything.
It does. What else means everything is you liking this video and subscribing to this channel. It helps us out so much. If you haven't done so yet, please do so right now. Road to 50K starts pretty soon here. And of course, likes a little light for my guy Kevin to get a good night's rest tonight. So
Lord knows I need it.
Dude, I think that's probably why you overslept this morning, Kevin.
It's probably why I've been having a nightmare like last
because
2
of
weeks.
the lack of likes on the show, dude.
Got my wallet taken. This morning was a nightmare. I'm not sleeping well. Chat, I don't ever want to blame y'all for anything. Like
Kevin's gonna blame all of his life problems.
I love each and every one of you guys in the chat. But can we like the video so my life can get back on track, y'all? Like I'm using Monarch money. I'm trying to get my life together, but y'all gotta help me help you, or help me help myself, or something. I don't know. Leave a like for Damon. Leave a like for me and my sad little existence over here.
Please do so. You can follow my guy Kevin. Throw him a pity follow, as I've said before. He could use it today at KevoPost. That's KevoPosts. We accept pity follows over here at AZ Wildcats
As
podcast.
Steven was saying on the Mercury show, an ugly W is a W. Do you not want to win?
100%. Feels it's the exact same context. Throw us a pity like at PHNX_Wildcats. Throw me a pity like at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. We will be back on a Monday on the AZ Wildcats podcast, 2 p.m. Do not go anywhere. Make sure you guys turn those notifications on for that one. But until then, noties on. But until then, bear down. Peace out.
And go Cats. Please, Arizona baseball. Please.
We all silly like the mayor.